Hello everyone. Welcome to this 5th grade science live stream. Today we will be going over organisms and environments. We'll begin it very shortly. Alright, let's begin. So let's first take a look at this question. Let's read it out loud and highlight any key information that we might need. Okay, so it says, a zookeeper sets up a habitat for a certain species of rabbit. Okay, which answer choice describes the rabbit as it interacts with two non-living parts of the rabbit's habitat? Now let's read the answer choices and see if we can eliminate any answer choices. Okay, so the first one says, the rabbit breathing air while running down a rocky path. The air and the rocky path are two non-living parts of the rabbit habitat. So let's keep answer choice A. Answer choice B. The rabbit licking its fur while feeding its young. Well, the rabbit's young are a living part of the rabbit's habitat, so that would not be correct. Now C. The rabbit hiding under plants from loud noises. The plants are a living part of the rabbit's habitat. So let's cross these two out. The rabbit nibbling on vegetation inside the habitat. Again, vegetation is a living part of the rabbit's habitat. So we can cross all three of these answer choices out, which leaves us with only one left, which is A. The rabbit breathing air while running down a rocky path. This is because both of these are non-living parts of the rabbit's habitat. Alright? If there are any questions, you can put them in the chat now and I'll go over them. Alright, it looks like there are no questions, so I'm going to move on. Okay, let's take a look at this next question and highlight any key information. A wooded habitat changes as a new road is built. Okay. How will building this road most likely affect this habitat? Okay, so we want to know how building the road will affect this habitat. Alright, so first step, let's look at our answer choices and see what we can eliminate here. Alright, answer choice A. Soil erosion will decrease. Building a road will most likely increase soil erosion because there will be fewer plants to hold the soil with their roots to prevent the soil from washing away. So we actually think that the soil erosion will increase, not decrease. So it would actually be the opposite of this, which means this answer choice is wrong. Answer choice B. Precipitation will increase. Building a road is not very likely to have a great effect on precipitation because water can evaporate from other areas and form clouds, so it's not very likely to affect the precipitation. So we can cross that out. Alright, let's check C and D. Animal populations will decrease. This actually may be true because building a road would remove some of the habitat. Smaller habitats support fewer animals because there are not as many resources needed to support a greater number of animals. So because of the fact that fewer amount of the habitat will remain after the road is built, animal populations could decrease. So this could be true. And lastly, option choice D. Plant reproduction will increase. Building a road will most likely reduce plant reproduction because there will be less soil in which plants need to grow. So it would actually be the opposite of these. So as you can see here, all of these have keywords, and if you can go through and think about them like I did, you can eliminate the choices that don't make sense. And make sure you really read these last parts here, because sometimes we read too fast and we might read decrease instead of increase, and we might choose the wrong answer choices. So we can conclude that the right answer choice is C. Animal populations will decrease. If there are any questions, please put them in the chat now. Alright, looks like there isn't any questions, so let's move on to the next problem here. Okay, so this one says a student makes a partial Texas aquatic food web as shown. Okay, so it's a partial food web. Let's read what the question is asking us. Which type of organism should replace the X in the food web? Okay, so let's look at the diagram we have. Okay, so it shows a largemouth bass, a green sunfish, a bullfrog tadpole, an aquatic plant, and a pod snail. And then we have the X. Okay. So it looks like from here, this X, whatever organism this is, it eats aquatic plants, it eats bullfrog tadpoles. Okay, because those are the two arrows pointing towards it. Now, what does it get eaten by? It gets eaten by this green sunfish. So let's look at the answer choices and see what could fit. Option choice A, an omnivore. Okay. What is an omnivore? An omnivore is an organism that eats both plants and animals. So does organism X eat both? Well, let's see. It does eat an aquatic plant, so that is a plant, and it does eat bullfrog tadpoles. So this could be the right answer choice. Let's check the next one, an herbivore. Well, as we said before, it does eat bullfrog tadpoles, and herbivores do not eat meat, so that's not correct. A carnivore. A carnivore is something that only eats meat, and as we said before, it does eat plants, so that's not correct. And lastly, we have producers, and it's definitely not a producer because a producer makes energy from light, and X is showing that it eats plants and tadpoles. It's not showing that it gets energy from the sun. So that means option choice D is also incorrect, which leaves us with option choice A. And remember, the organism X is an omnivore because it eats both plants and animals. So that's why it's correct. If you have any questions, please leave them in the chat below. All right, let's go to our final question here. Okay. So first step is to highlight the key information. A scientist finds the plant fossil shown here. So this is the plant fossil. All right. Which question can the scientist most likely answer by examining the fossil? All right. So let's read out these questions and see. The First one. What was the average monthly rainfall in the area? Well, I don't think this is the correct answer because fossils can't give clues to the average monthly rainfall, but they can give clues as to whether the environment was rainy. However, the average monthly rainfall, that can't be determined just by a fossil. So we can eliminate option choice A. Option B. How much water was absorbed by the roots of the plants? This fossil cannot help scientists to answer the question about how much water was absorbed by the roots of the plants, but they can tell the scientists if the plants lived in a rainy environment, as we said before. So these are kind of being more specific questions that the fossil itself can't answer. How much water was absorbed? What was the average monthly rainfall? That can't be answered just by a fossil. Answer choice C. How much oxygen was in the atmosphere surrounding the plant? The fossil cannot help scientists discover this either because just by looking at the fossil, you can't determine how much oxygen was in the atmosphere surrounding the plants at the time. Again, that's too specific. All of these have like a commonality here because each one is a little too specific and you can't tell like what they are just by looking at this one fossil. And lastly, we have option choice D. What was the environment like in the area when the plant was alive? See, this is kind of a more general question, something that a scientist could answer just by looking at this fossil. So by process of elimination, we can determine that answer choice D is indeed correct. If you have any questions about this, please leave them in the chat. All right, it looks like we're good. We finished all the questions. Thank you everyone for watching this live stream. And I guess I'll see you next time.